In this video, I'm going to talk about how to use the store function on your TI-Nspire CX2 CAS. The basic idea of the store function is if you have a value, you store it into a variable. Let's say I have this random value here, okay, and I want to store that into a variable. Let's say I want to store it to y. Okay, what I can do is I can press Control var. That's going to give me an arrow, and I can press Y and press enter, and now this value is stored inside of the variable y. Now let's say I want to do some kind of operation with this. Let's say, I don't know, 2y plus 1. Notice how the italics of y is gone and that the alphabet is in bold. This means that a value is stored inside of y. Now if I go ahead and press enter, that's going to give me 2 times this value plus 1. Now some people might say this is useless because you can basically press Control C, Control V, no matter how long the value is. But the problem comes up when we're thinking of infinite decimals and other annoying numbers. We'll take a look at a practice problem. Okay, so this is a nice little Algebra 2 level practice problem from Delta Math. It's about compound interests. Assuming we all know how to solve this problem, we'll go ahead and solve this problem using a calculator. So let's say we have Hunter invested $750 in an account paying an interest of 6 and 5/8% compounded continuously. So what we have to get is that 6 and 5/8 is 6.625%. So if we use our formula here, we can do 750 times, well, I don't need that, times e to the power of 6.625, except we're going to have to multiply that by 1 over 100 because that's a percentage. So if we have 0.0625, no, not 0.0625, 0.06625, then we have to multiply that by how many years? 18 years. So if we do that, it's going to give us a value. And I'm sure that there are more decimal points after this because obviously we're using Euler's number E. So we're going to store that number into a variable. So since Hunter starts with H, we want to store that to H. So if we have Control var, notice how it says ANDS, which means we're literally taking the previous value and storing it into a value. So let's say I want to store it to H. Then if I press H, it's going to repeat that number, and like I said, there are more decimal values after the decimal point. So anyways, and then if we think about this London guy, we have $750 times, now it's 6.5% compounded daily. So we have to do 1 plus 0.065 over daily, so 365 to the power of 365 times 18 years, so 18. So if we have that, that's going to give us this interesting value. And I guess we can use ANDS, but just to show you how to use store, we're going to store that into a variable L because London starts with L. Okay, so now this value is stored inside of H. This value is stored inside of L. In the context of the problem, the money that Hunter has is this much. Money that London has is this much. Now the question is asking how much more money would Hunter have than London. So we can do H minus L. Notice how both of these alphabets are bolded and the italics are gone, which means that we have successfully inputted these values into the variable. So anyways, if we do that, we're going to have this answer, and it tells us to round to the nearest dollar, so we can do 55. Yes, I'm sure. And I'm correct.